The sixth secret to a more connected family in the 21st century is empathy. Now, to define empathy, it's more doing it than having it. For instance, a great saying is this: sympathy is feeling bad for somebody. Empathy is feeling bad with somebody. I think a lot of times in our own families, we feel bad for our kids, we feel bad for our spouse, but we don't truly step into their shoes and feel bad with them. That's why whenever they're angry at us or they're criticizing us, when we feel bad for them and not with them, and we ignore their feelings, it ratchets up the feelings. And when our feelings are ratcheted up and we're just angry and we're not feeling right about life, we feel like maybe God has dealt us a bad hand, or we felt like somebody has wronged us, or whatever it is, we tend to turn to the things that calm and soothe us the most. And for a lot of us today, that's technology. I use this phrase a lot because I use it with addicts, that typically when we turn to the things that calm and soothe us, our vices, our idols, if you will, it's usually when we're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or bored. That's when we turn to these devices. But what it does is it puts us into a mode of self-pity. It puts us into a mode of, it's about me. And our kids, they turn to the social media and they post selfies or they post pictures to get more likes or to get more comments, to boost their egos back up again. And what we're doing is we're creating a very self-centered culture because of it. One research study shows that narcissism has increased by 30% in the past 30 years among college students, and empathy is decreased by 40%. When you look at the increase of narcissism and the decrease of empathy, we're seeing a growing gap between people having an ability to step into the shoes of another individual. Empathy in our kids starts with us as parents. Being able to teach our kids the importance of emotions. Being able to teach our kids the importance of looking into the heart of another person and seeing where they're coming from as well. I think social media and technology and texting is ripe for putting people down, for hurting others, because our brains and our thumbs can type faster than our hearts and our emotions can mirror back what another person might be feeling. We need to teach these aspects of how the brain works and how our emotions work to our kids, but more than teaching, we need to model it. There's a passage in Philippians that says, "Let your reasonableness be made known to everybody." I love that because that word reasonableness is a word used for maintaining and growing community. It's seeking the heart, a disposition of seeking the heart of another more than oneself. And then it goes on and it says, when you're anxious, pray. When you're anxious, meditate. Give that to God. Because when you do, it calms your heart. It calms your brain. It calms your emotions. Then the verse goes on to say, then think upon these things that are noble, things that are pure, things that are true and lovely. You see, when we're anxious, when we're overwhelmed with life, it's very easy to use social media and technology to either hurt others to build ourselves up, or just simply make ourselves and our lives look more glamorous than they really are, to build up our own ego and identity through likes and through comments and through what other people think of us. But the reality is this: when we do that, it limits our ability to step into the shoes of another individual because it becomes about us. And so when we think about empathy, my heart is that we begin to use technology and social media not to build our own lives up, but to build up the lives of other people. Because I believe that's where true joy is found. Sure, these technological devices, these TV shows, all these apps, they give us a high, or we wouldn't continue to go back to them. But when we retrain our brain to be able to step into the shoes of another and use these devices for the glory and building up of another human being, I promise you it will bring more joy to your life than how you use technology for your own glory. That's the way we need to model for our kids, and teaching our kids healthy, responsible screen time use to build the lives up of others rather than to build the lives up of ourselves. So let's stop posting selfies and let's start posting selflessies or otheries. I know it sounds silly, but let's begin to stick up for the least of these in the community and make it a family project where you as a family work together to build the lives of another and pour into another. And I promise you, at the end, you'll be glad you did, because it will bring you and your family more connected to one another as you serve other people.